So tonight, I have a nice, well-balanced yoga practice planned for you. Hope you had a chance to perhaps light your own candle, and if not, no big. Hopefully you can see mine. And as we sit nice and tall again, take a look at your candle, a gazing point. And as you're gazing, centering, and breathing deeply. And when we start to notice the breath, how it's moving, we tend to slow down just a little bit, and that's a good thing. But tonight, so many nights we do start sitting on the ground or on hands and knees, and I really feel that we need to shake it up a little bit. So please stand up and just shake out what you can in a standing position. So not too close together, give yourself some freedom. Shake out your hips, shake out your arms, and then let's start a little rotation. And notice how I lift the heels so that we protect knees. And you can actually get a little more freedom into the rotation of your body, and let's find a natural action. Smoothness, generating some energy. And now let's slowly, just slowly, stopping our momentum, settling, beginning to still, balanced in our footprints, and then stand up on your tiptoes, and then set your feet back down and lift 10 toes up from the ground. 10 toes down, tiptoe lift. Oh, and balance and align your shoulders and control your descent to the ground and lift 10, curl your 10 toes up from the mat. Let's do it again. And slowly, precisely, heels down, toes up. Now plant your 10 toes on the ground. And let's slowly, like a melting action, melt down, roll down towards the ground. And let your head pour down, the crown, top of your head, diving down towards the ground softly, right? Controlling your actions tonight. And now that you're in your forward bend, let's find a deep breath and softly shake out whatever you can here. A little shoulder shake, little head shake, little finger shake. Now you can put your fingertips on the ground or on your shin bones and look forward and tabletop the spine. Zip your belly, strengthen as you look forward. Drop your bottom down and let's find all fours position, tabletop. Here we are. Exhale into cat pose. Inhale, cow pose. Slow roll through the spine, guided by your slow, deep breaths. So I talked about natural, long, deep breaths, natural rhythms of your movement. Let's link those things together. One more cat and one more cow, please. Now let's take a small dive downward into our child's pose. Balance point for this is really truly center of the forehead, and then the spine lengthens, your arms balance as they reach forward. And check in with your arms, making sure that they're not overreaching. They're stretched out, yes, but not stressed in that action. And when the shoulders aren't stressed, when they feel good about what's happening, when they feel attached to the body, that feeling of connection encourages your breath to expand throughout your body more vividly. So let's use our breath as a really great tool to light up any dark spots within our body tonight. Where are you feeling a little stiff, a little tight, a little tense? Let's let go of that stuff in the exhale. There's a lot of power there to detangle that detritus. And now let's rise up. Peel yourself up slowly and thoughtfully. Take tabletop pose again. Hands and knees. A round of cats and cows. Exhaling through your cat, a big rainbow arc. And then turn that curve the other direction to draw out your cow pose. Ride your breath. Find the good stretches that exist through these mindful movements. And the best movements come from a balanced body, one that's well placed. All right, let's turn 10 toes under and downward dog pose. Give your knees a soft bend. Front paws tractioning downward and forward. Check in that your breath is filling belly, ribs, and chest. Now please walk your hands to the back of the mat. You're walking your hands towards your feet. You're now bent in half in forward bend. Forward folded pose, Uttanasana. The folded body position, folded from our hip hinge, that encourages the breath to expand throughout us a little more profoundly. All right, slowly let's roll up to stand up and widen our feet wide, wide, wide. Comfortably placed footprints. So you don't want to go too wide that you can't maintain your balance. Wide straddle, evenly balanced footprints, right? In yoga, that's called pada bandha, your foot lock, and how you're connecting your feet to the ground beneath you with balance. And we have this turnout like a ballerina, right? And if we did squat, which we are, let's squat. We're a plie squat like a ballerina. And in the plied position, we want to feel our footprints balanced and our body mobile, right? Not stuck, but movable, changeable, transformable. So just softly shifting, finding that controlled action, and then come back to center. Let's reach up, straightening our legs, right? We've been in that squat for a bit. Straighten your legs, reach up and balance. Ooh, balance. Key action. Now plie squat, arms come down. You can touch your thighs and stay here. If this is the deepest you're gonna go tonight, that's okay. Or you could reach down for the ground. What feels better, right? What feels better? Inhaling up again, balancing, exhaling, inhaling. So we're flowing down into touching ground, rising up. And if we stop in the middle, arms reaching outward, plie squat, we're in our goddess pose. Let's hang out here. Well-balanced footprints, roots sinking. Turn out to the legs, expansion to the arms, palms turned upward. Pretend you're balancing candles in your palms. Let the breath fill up 360 degrees of your body, of your belly, ribs, and chest. All right, hands to thighs. We're going to tip forward slightly. We're in a nice, well-braced, well-framed position. Notice if you're slouching in. Let's lengthen, pull your neck and head out of the shoulder space. And now, rotation through the ribs softly. Right shoulder dips down, look over the left shoulder. A nice stretch across the shoulder blades. Slowly shift, turning to look over the right shoulder, dipping the left one down softly. Let's shift again. Right shoulder dip. Left shoulder dip. All right, center, straightening legs. Arms reach up, reaching up evenly. And then arms expand outward. Big wide body. Plie squat, hands to ground. Shift over to the right. We're side lunging. Slow shift, right? We're movable. Shifting to the left. Side lunging. Skandasana pose. Let's slowly shift back to the right and take a few breaths here. See how it fits. See how we align and balance best. One more time. Shift your Skandasana to the left, please. Now let's move back to center. Oh, we're hands on ground, feet are wide. I'm gonna start to walk my hands forward, bring my legs in, hands and knees pose. Voila, here we are. Now, cat cow, let's try a few more rounds. Exhaling cat. Inhale, draws out your cow. One breath, one movement. child's pose, one long stretch. All right, let's be Sphinx pose, lengthening along the ground, elbows pressed down, coming into forearm balance. Out of the round, into the broaden across your shoulders and chest. Press downward through your elbows and hands. Broaden your hips across the mat. Key actions that we need. They're going to make wave 2 of these asanas feel even better. Now softly, chin just dangles down gently, still pressing down through your elbows. That grounding is important. Let the breath move into the back of the neck and shoulders. Find a little bit of mobility of the scapula, the shoulder blades on your back. All right, softly again. Down to ground we go. Hands maneuver to take us back to child's pose. Now, please peel yourself up again. You're going to come to your knees. You're balanced on your knees position. Arms pouring from your sides. Shoulders, mobility. I'm turning sideways so you see better. I'm alternating this action. One side, then the other side. There's good stretches that move into a little bit of rotation through the rib cage. Right, don't overdo it. Find your natural action. We can find that natural action when we feel well balanced, well placed. And now let's center, chest broadening, opening, 10 toes turn under. Hands start at your back pockets, like you're gonna slide your hands in your back pockets. And maybe this is your camel pose right now. Whew, feels pretty good. Supported through your belly space. There's a zipping action happening to help you control. And as you lean back, the front gets stronger. As you lean back, front gets stronger and longer to maybe allow you to touch your heels. Maybe you stopped at your hamstrings below the back pockets, or maybe you stayed at your back pockets. What feels best in your body? That's the question. And slowly release. Hands touch back down to the mat. We're in all fours position again together, tabletop. Another round of cat and cow flow, please. Syncing your movement and breath. And both movement and breath are slow. Each movement and each breath fulfills its action. So coming back to our tabletop position. So I did the goddess pose and skandasana poses, not on my mat, just to show you how that wide footprint looked. Now I'm going to use my mat as I would, in the yoga studio. But here I am at home. I can do whatever I like. And I have such small space to work in, so we make it work. Sideways. Wide legs. Oh, I feel like a spider. Every time I do this, I get very spider-like. Spider-Man, my son's favorite superhero. All right. We've got our footprints balanced, using the earth beneath us to help us balance as well. Hands to thigh bones, right, to our femur bones. Aligning, but still being able to shift. Let's shift to the left, to the back of the mat. Skandasana. So here's what it looks like from that side view. And you get balanced. Right leg lengthening. And, you know, we did some foot warming up. Back leg here. As long as the knee feels good, find your drop, you know, your drop. Now control shifting back to the other side, to the right. And find your Skandasana balanced. A nice long deep stretch. But a position that you can control. All right, my friends, another slow shift to the left. Drop in comfortably. Honor your body. Slow shift back to the right. Now let's maneuver back to center and rise up and open into our goddess pose. Let your shoulders sink down from your ears, expand your arms, sink your root, balanced footprints. Right, next inhale, we extend legs and reach arms upward. Good even stretch. All right. Footprints went from wide to parallel. That's a good start. The foot lock, the Pada Bandha change to parallel. Or toes inish slightly. Heels slide outish, toes inish, and that can lock your feet to the ground. Lock the outer edge of the foot to the ground. Folding from your hip hinge. Let's use the earth. Let's breathe. Let's define our body, upper and lower, and that happens at our hip hinge. Important in this pose to listen to your body, to have good, even footprints. To stay as high as you need to be, or drop down crown to ground, or better said, towards ground. It doesn't have to touch down. But there clearly is a spectrum for forward fold. Do what feels right. And now let's walk. Hands walking. Hands have been doing a lot of walking tonight. Walk to the right. Back left foot shifts and pivots. Oh, we're in a lunging pose. Hello again. left knee to the ground. Let's shift into our dragon variation. Your right footprint up in the right quadrant of the front of the mat. Hands on the mat. Balance, lengthening from your left tiptoes to the top of your head. And then softly chin fades downward. Apply your 360-degree breathing. All right, let's shift back. Tail, meaning tail shifts back, body shifts back as right leg straightens. We find a sense of balance in this new forward bent position. Ardha Hanumanasana, a half splitting pose. It's a deep hamstring stretching pose. One more long, deep breath, please. And then we can softly, right, really slowly, mindfully shift our right heel back. We're tabletopped, reframing our body. Let's bring left foot up to the left front quadrant of the mat. We'll, hoisting the right knee up, we take that long lunge, priming that splitting action. But the pose is called lunge Anjayanasana. Now we'll put the knee on the ground. Right knee rests on the ground. Hands balance. Footprint, left footprint, Padabandha, important to help us balance as well. So that we're not shifting off all to the right side. The left footprint seals and aligns and helps drive our body into a better position. To be well placed. That's a huge part of your yoga practice. Huge part. Let's softly sink the chin downward as we continue to balance in our dragon pose variation. One more long, deep breath, please. And we'll shift into Ardha Hanumanasana, straightening the left leg, reframing the body, balancing, breathing. Checking in that we are well placed again. One more long, deep breath, please. And we'll shift left heel back to all fours position, tabletop, and give your hips a little sway to the right, a little swipe to the left, and continue that action. And that gives you a nice stretch up the sides of the hips through the sides of the ribs. You feel it start to travel. Maybe through the sides of the shoulders. We want to have a little gliding action through the shoulders, the scapula on the back. I don't want to feel concrete. Not at all. That's the movement we're driving away from. So maybe you start to create a combination of movement that helps you create that detangling. And hopefully it feels good, because this is about your body tonight, and I hope you're listening and breathing deeply. Now let's come back to that tabletop frame. Please take one more downward dog, just a nice centering stretch, discovering our long, deep breaths. Engaging your core strength to help hold you upward off the ground. Just one more long, deep breath. All right. Now, knees to the ground, tabletop position, coming back to this starting point right here, this beginning point. Shifting weight to the right hand, right knee shifts, right? Lift and shift, balance. It's like you have a little kickstand behind you with foot and toes, yeah? Left hand to the sky. We've done this together before. It's a variation, a very friendly variation of a side plank. But if we lift up from the ground, right hand to hip, left hand to hip, centering, balancing. Left hand, light touch to the back of your left thigh. Right hand up to the sky. Gate pose. Now we slowly, right hand touch down to ground, finding our balance. Side plank variation. Maybe you want to lift your left leg up from the ground, left foot up from the ground. Level leg with body. Expand across chest. All right, let's come back down to center. Tabletop pose. That beginning point once again. Now let's shift to the left. Right leg steps to the back of the mat. Shifting knee foot pattern. Side plank balance. And we are well balanced so that when we rise, we're centered and steady. Right hand to the back of the right thigh, gently placed. Left hand to sky. Gate pose. Left hand slowly touching down to ground. And we side plank balance, lifting right leg up. Right leg leveling with body. Breathing into 360 degrees of our body. And right foot to ground. Coming back to our tabletop position comfortably. Child's pose, balasana, elongating the spine, balancing on the center of your forehead. Applying a few long, deep breaths. And hopefully your breath is expanding a little more brightly into those murky, darker spaces that needed a little bit of motion, a little bit of attention, and a lot of oxygenation. In your next deep breath, think of saturating your spinal body at long chain. Saturate that space in your breath, in that oxygen. Well done, yogis. Now slowly peel yourself up from child's pose. Let's take a seat. We really stretched our hips and thighs every way this evening. She really is losing it. She's been at home too long. Straddled legs, sitting tall, easing ourselves forward into the forward bend. And we're really listening to our body and taking that feedback into account as we continue to deepen the pose. Always deepening our breath, for sure. That's a great thing. But there's a point at deepening the pose where, your body's clearly saying yes or no. All right, slowly let's sit up. Right leg comes into angle front of the mat. Left leg sweeps back behind us. Recentering, reframing the body on the mat. Pigeon pose. Shifting sweetly. Any movement you make helps you make better sense out of the position you're in. Your root is sinking downward towards the ground. But that doesn't mean that one cheek of your rear is sinking deeper than the other. Keep your hips neutral as you sink your pubic bone towards the ground. That's the anchoring point. And that's where the stretch is coming from, that origin point. And maybe you lean onto the elbows. This is a maybe. This is your body inviting you to do that kind of thing. If not, handprints are fully acceptable. Now, if you were on your elbows, come back to your handprints, and then we shall now shift to the right cheek to make that transition. A smooth sweep. Left leg to the front of the mat, creating the angle. Right leg recenters behind us, sliding back slightly, sinking our root, our pubic bone towards the ground to center. Handprints help keep our body in balance, right, left sides of the spine. And then we breathe and we sink softly towards the ground, right? Heeding the body's invitations to do so. Applying our 360-degree breathing. One more long, deep breath. And then please come back to your handprints if you shift it down to elbows. Now, moving out of this pose to tabletop for the moment. Elbows, right, to the ground. Little dolphin pose, tails up. So you're, from the side view, it looks elbows down, you know, toes turn under, tail up. So it reflects a little bit of downward dog in the tail action, but your elbows are on the ground steering your balance. One more deep breath in your dolphin pose, please. And knees to ground. We'll come back up to all fours. And then hands lift from the floor again to our hips. Shoulders roll back. Let's take another attempt into camel pose. Shoulders roll back, melt back, belly zips up. Steady footprints, right? Our feet help us stay steady. Take the back pockets, hamstrings, perhaps the lean back into Ustrasana. Slowly we rise, right? Bring yourself out of the pose thoughtfully. Hands to the ground, child's pose. And now slide out onto your belly into your Sphinx pose. We've been here tonight together. Balanced again, elbows down, forearm balance. Softening chin towards the chest. And now lift your head up again. Reframe the head at the top of your shoulders. Give a little shift right to left. You can feel that action through the sides of the rib cage. A little freedom, a little more room for the breath to move up into the back of the shoulder. Now, friends, center. Really simple move. Roll onto your back from here. And place your body thoughtfully, right? Place your body on the mat, a well-placed body for final relaxation. Explore the depths of your breath. Explore that space that has been expanded into. Let your body rest on the ground beneath you. Oxygenate every cell within you. Now is the time to find your spark. We all have a spark within us that ignites our creative spirit. Sometimes it's overshadowed by the big obstacles that threaten the light in our lives, but our spark will survive our darkest times, waiting to show the way to a brighter future. If the divine spark were not native to us, how could it move us to rapture? There are moments of rapture to be found within our yoga practice, and may we unwrap more of them together through our candlelight yoga sessions. Thank you for being here tonight, everybody. May you wake up softly from your shavasana, moving yourself back up to the surface again. Many thanks. Sending you a big cosmic hug. Have a great rest of your Sunday night.